All right, what's going on, guys? Graham, Jason Matthews here with BleacherReport.com and Fansided Daily DDT. This coming Sunday on A&E, we're getting the next episode of Biography WWE Legends on A&E, as I said. The star of this upcoming episode, Lex Luger, former Royal Rumble winner, a lot of accolades in the business. Lex, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you were actually in Nashville over the weekend for StarCast, right? How was that?
I was. It was fabulous. We all had a great time.
Awesome.
Nostalgia, fans had a great time. We had a great time, the boys. It was great.
Fantastic. And you got to go to Ric Flair's last match too, right?
I wasn't at the match. I had to travel back that evening. I was there for the entire weekend up to the match. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have been there for the match. My gosh.
That's what it was. I remember watching it. I saw your shout-out that you sent in. That's what it was. But did you get a chance to watch the match at any point after the fact?
I've watched parts of it, and I think he did well.
For a 73-year-old guy, I think he did as well as he probably could have, and I think
absolutely.
It was... Yeah, I mean, for a Jim...
Proud of Rick. I was so excited for him. Rick loves... Man, he feels most at home in the ring. Mm-hmm. And I was thrilled for him. I really was.
Yeah, no, they made the show all about him, the Jim Crockett promotion stuff. Just watching, like, parts of the match, as you mentioned, kind of bring you back to the days of, like, when you were on top, Ric Flair was on top, stuff like that, because I thought they nailed the nostalgia aspect of that show so perfectly.
Well, yeah, that was my beginnings, Crockett Promotions. They even, for our photo shoot, they had the original set, like, replicated. So when we posed for photos with the fans, that was the only time that the Crockett Horsemen, myself and the other guys, and Barry Windham had ever been at a photo shoot together.
Wow,
appearance.
That's crazy.
All the same time, so that was really cool.
How was the experience kind of catching up with them?
Oh, it was great. We shared a lot of those stories. We had in front of the fans, we had a Q&A, and we all had a good time. A lot of laughs, a lot of fun. A lot of great memories.
No, that's awesome. No, it was great to see you over the weekend in Nashville for StarCast, and obviously, like I said, we're seeing you this Sunday on A&E for this documentary. Just between like the Flair match, you said you caught parts of the match, the match itself and whatnot. Do you keep up with the product today at all, or do you just kind of stay away from the wrestling scene of today?
No, I do. I love it. I've become a wrestling fan.
Nice.
Not just a wrestler. I've broadened my horizons. Yeah. I love it.
Is this more of a recent thing of becoming a fan? I mean, obviously you've always been a fan to a certain extent, but is it just recently you kind of got back into it, or was this been going on for a while? It's
evolved. It really has.
Yeah.
It's evolved over a number of years, and I started watching it a little bit more and checking it out a little bit more. It blows my mind what they can do now in the ring, the men and the women. Is just incredible athleticism and the things that we didn't even think of doing. Other than maybe a few guys that were kind of groundbreakers with the moves they do now, but just phenomenal athletes. It's incredible. I love it.
Do any of those athletes in particular stand out to you as someone that you peg as a favorite or someone that you could see going far in the business going forward?
Oh, man, there's so many great guys out there. I like some of the older school guys, Randy Orton, Edge, some of those guys. AJ Styles are kind of the older style blended with the new. It's really cool. And there's so many great young stars that they're developing. So it'll be interesting to see who rises to the top.
Yeah,
Cream always rises to the top, the old saying.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I like the mix of the old and new as well. I think someone like AJ Styles, as you mentioned, does that exceptionally well. But like I said, we're going to get your doc on Sunday. Talk a little bit about this documentary and what we can expect from it. And
I haven't seen it in entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of it, Graham, but I haven't seen it entirely. So I like surprises, so I'll be watching it in its entirety for the first time as well, like everybody else.
How was the experience filming for it?
Oh, they're so good at that. I mean, WB is just phenomenal at putting that content together. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really was.
And I know, so last year we had the Icon series, and they did a couple, and for whatever reason, yours got shelved, and we didn't get to see it. We're seeing it kind of now, I guess, in the form of this documentary. So we're still seeing a lot of the scenes that we were going to get in that one for this one. Did you have to film much more for this one than you would have for the Icons one that was out last year?
No, they pretty much had a wrap on it. They came back. We did a few things, added in, updated, but it's pretty much going to be what you would have seen on the Icons, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, it saves you a lot of stuff, right? It saves you a lot of time. Just copy and paste it, I guess, put it into another documentary, right?
Oh, I wouldn't have minded doing it over again.
Yeah.
But I know I felt for the fans a lot more. Man, what happened to your icons? There was some funny stuff on social media, like a guy sitting on a couch waiting for it, and like he was a skeleton. And it was like, oh my gosh. Some were kind of almost ticked off. I'm like, man, I hope they bring out pretty much what they were gonna for the fans. So yeah. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see it.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad we're finally getting it, because I was one of those people that was bummed that because it was like the day or two before we found out, no, it's not happening. And, obviously they had the footage and the whole thing was made. It was going to air, I think, the weekend of 4th of July, which obviously timed perfectly with the anniversary of the match.
My nephew called me up. And was like, man, I just joined WWE Network and Peacock. And then, he was, what happened? I go, I don't know. I'll find out.
Yeah.
Now we know, right?
Yeah.
It got switched over to A&E.
Exactly. They got us $10 for the month, so that counts for something. It counts for something. But that's fantastic.
Oh my God.
And in filming for it too, just talking about your career and your life, how was the experience? We talked a little bit about a minute ago, but just talking about your career and your life, like what are you feeling coming out of it? Is it like a sense of closure? Is it like a nice trip down memory lane, experiencing the highs, the lows? How are you feeling coming out of it and talking about it all?
Well, it's never closure because us wrestlers, until we draw our last breath, we still live it and mingle with the fans. I'm at the wonderful program, the ambassador program, WWE. So to be continued. So it's not a closure thing, but a lot of great memories. And like I just tweeted out on Twitter a little thing about that because I saw WWE put some stuff out there on Twitter. It's the only platform that I'm on, and that it was the. I just said, buckle up, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that old Clint Eastwood movie.
Ah, there you
best
go.
of all time. So it should be very, very interesting.
Nice. Well, you mentioned Twitter right there. You said that's the only platform you're on. How interesting is it being on social media, being able to interact with the audience, being able to interact with your fans for such a long time from over the years? In an instant, you just put out one tweet and people can respond back. I mean, you would have never had that like 15 years ago,
Oh, I love it. I mean, I absolutely fantastic. And I just try to I know social media can be controversial, but only if we buy into that controversy. I just try to put positive things out there, and, fun stuff, and retweet a lot of fun little cat and dog videos. And I have a lot of fun, a little bit of wrestling mixed in and stuff like that. So I have a lot of fun with it. I really enjoy it.
Nice. I guess that's just the modern age, right? You take the good or the good or the bad. But you mentioned you just highlighting the positive, and we're going to be seeing a bit of that, like you said, the good, the bad, and the ugly in this documentary. Was there any one part of it that you kind of liked reliving more than anything else, whether it be the Yokozuna stuff or anything else from your career?
Oh, well, I think a few of the highlights from my days with the Horsemen, which we went back to this past weekend. That was like my start. So I had a lot of very special memories with that. Yeah, slamming Yokozuna on the Intrepid, the Lex Express was huge part of my career. And then the Monday Night Wars, be a part of that. And when I won the world title live on Nitro against Hulk Hogan, had him in the torture rack, the crowd went berserk. So, man, just those are a few things when you ask me that right now kind of pop into my mind.
Oh, fantastic. And you talk about those moments as well, and just kind of, like I said, that trip down memory lane and just talking about that. Did you ever say it all in any of the people they were bringing on as the talking heads being able to talk about your career, or was that all up to WWE?
Oh, no, they do all that. I can't wait to see it.
I was going to say, so you don't know what anyone's going to say.
Definitely at times was a controversial figure, so that should be interesting.
I was going to say, so we don't know what they're going to... We don't even... Do you know at any point who was brought on?
Big fans, both fans and guys in the locker room. I had some that weren't so fond of me, so that should be interesting.
You don't know anyone that was featured?
No.
Wow.
I know Stinger was on. He called me about it because he was asking me some questions about it. Did you want me to be on this thing? And I go, yeah, of course I do, if you can do it. But, yeah, so I know he's on there. But I haven't seen any of the footage of many of the comments other than what WWE just put out there this week. So, I like I said, I like surprise, so it should be fun.
That's cool. No, I'm glad they got Sting for it. He was such a pivotal part of your career. And it's cool to see, too, because obviously he's not currently part of the WWE family. Like, I think it's awesome that they were able to, I mean, just assuming right now, just based off that comment, they were able to bring in people from the outside for stuff like this. We've seen it in other documentaries they've done on other people for this biography series on A&E. It's super cool to see that, companies, whatever, all that stuff kind of be put aside to allow someone like Sting to be able to talk about your career. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I do too. I love the way W's doing that. So yeah, A+ gold star on that one.
Yeah, no, you mentioned with the Monday Night War. I say Wednesday Night Wars. That was just recently. We talked about the Monday Night Wars with WCW and WWE, and people have kind of related to that in the last couple of years, as far as the new companies rising up, AEW, stuff like that. Does in paying attention to any of it, does that take you back to the Monday Night Wars? Is it something incredibly different? Do you see any similarities? What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
Ask that again. You said something current versus back then?
Yeah, just talking about your relationship with the Monday Night Wars and the role that you played in it, and relating it to present day between WWE, AEW, and personally as a fan, I think it's positive to have competition, and just I wanted to get your thoughts on the modern take.
Oh, I definitely think it brings out the best in everybody.
Yeah,
and so I'm all for competition. I know WWE's all for competition. We ain't scared. So I love it. I think it's great for the fans. It's great for us as talent and wrestlers, and for the creative teams. And I think it's great.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. And as we wind down here, going back to your documentary, just talking a little bit about that, and just, I talked to Kurt last week, and he talked about everything that he overcame, and that was kind of like the main moral message of his documentary. For you, and just filming for it, was there any one main message that you wanted to send to the audience and putting this documentary out there, or is it really just the telling of your career, and you were just there to kind of talk about it?
Well, I haven't seen it all yet, but so I'm interested in the overview and what they stress and don't stress. Right. Hey, I'm totally transparent. I do a lot of public speaking now with young people that you can learn from our mistakes and don't ever give up and don't ever quit. I made some decisions that took me kind of off road, and I've been able to emerge through that with help of a lot of people and the good Lord. And I love to encourage people with my story. It's real. It's gritty. There's, like I said, good, bad, and ugly parts to it. But that's life and adversity, and so I hope they share that part. I really do.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we got an episode on you, Lex. It's really cool to see, yourself, Goldberg, Kurt, Taker. That's quite the collection of talent to be among, to be focused on it for this show. I think that's awesome.
It is. I feel so special.
They got you for the second season. Well, I'm looking forward to watching it as well, coming up on Sunday, as they mentioned, on A&E. It's Biography, WWE Legends, on the legendary himself, Lex Luger. Lex, thanks so much for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Graham. Great talking with you.